Hello everybody, welcome to episode 4 of Hot R3Z18, and with us, a special guest, Ross Klein, who has been elected chairman for the Nooksack Tribe.
How's it going, Ross?
Good. Nice to be here, guys.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. So we're just going to have a few quick questions, for this episode. Basically, the first question would be, can you give a brief background about how you tie into Nooksack?
Yes, I can. I have several ties to Nooksack. One, let's see, my grandfather was adopted by Harry Halim.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that tie to Harry Halim, one of the original homesteaders for Nooksacks.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother is a daughter to Old Anton, and he was another homesteader in just south of Sumas.
Oh, okay. That's good. Any questions?
So, question 2, Ross. As elected chairman, what plans do you have to benefit for the tribal community for the future generations?
Oh, I have visions of getting back on our feet economically. You know, we've lost the Nooksack River Casino, and that provided 200 jobs or so. Those are gone. The Northwood is struggling. I won't say it's about to collapse, or it's getting along okay, but we need more than that.
Could do better.
Yeah.
It could do better. That's a good way to put it. Or we can get other things going. And I want to look at I'll say the marijuana growing, distribution, sales, part of
So, start like a dispensary?
dispensary, yeah.
Or a grow?
Grow and dispense, have people employed cultivating.
I heard Slayla did that too.
Yeah.
Yes, there are actually several tribes.
Oh, is it?
Mm.
I just heard Slayla.
Oh, that'd be good though. I mean, that'd be a good start to get back on our feet. Is that something you'd have planned for the possible near future to put at where the river used to be located? Or do you have another location?
I actually have several locations in mind. I'm not sure which will. I don't like to have just one plan and then find out that can't work.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I am thinking about the old river casino area.
Okay.
So you have
Over
like,
the.
you have like plan B and plan C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good.
There's
Okay.
another option over. Used to be the Tribal Works building.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's canoe shed now. But
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh, on the yard?
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
behind the. Gee, what would you say? In front of the old tool crib, or behind the main offices there, the big office.
I can't remember what they called it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good location.
There's a couple locations. Then the old amphitheater.
Oh, okay.
Put in some temporary greenhouse type facilities, or there's some options there. We're not using it. So.
Mm. Yeah.
Might as well use it.
I say use it. Put people to work.
Yeah. I mean, people are always looking for jobs, so
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
jobs.
Would there be security on site for if we're to do growing? Would there be security on site because the Mount Baker high school is right around the corner.
Right.
So would there be like people watching at all times for that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so that shouldn't be any cause of conflict for them.
My understanding is it's part of a state compacting requirement.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not just
Squirrel.
the tribe going out and doing its own thing without the state, I think, will be involved in it, require
Okay.
similar things that are occurring off the reservation,
Mhm.
where you can't smoke in your facility or
Yeah.
can't take it out the back door, or
Yeah.
the security, maximum security cameras, and you're always on camera.
So there's no taste testing?
If there is, it has to be outside the grow area or off the
Yeah.
premises.
just like your food, you gotta taste it.
Yeah.
I'm not really a taster, so but I'm not against it.
Okay, so that would actually lighten the rule off of. I know that some people have got let go from the tribe for having marijuana in their system, so that would kind of overlook on that, and there won't be that rule no more. Or
I don't expect that rule to be observed, that it will be permissible.
okay, so it'd be like at home and not on the job. Though.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Also falls into the taste testing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not for testing, I'm not against testing, or
So a third and kind of final question is kind of a big one. It's something everybody has fallen to, and that is, what is your stance on nepotism and favoritism?
nepotism and favoritism. You know, it used to be in the policies. I'm not sure it's still there, or I haven't seen the policies for a long time. But my stance is, I think it does a disfavor to those that we serve, the people. If you can keep it in check and still provide the necessary services, to some extent it's okay. And I do realize that we're all related to each other somehow or another.
Granted, being part of Native.
But when it's really tight, mother, daughter, mother, son,
like intermediate that way, yeah.
same household, then it can be and if it's abused, it can be a detriment to the services provided to the people. That I'm not in favor of.
Yeah, because I mean, I know one way or another, everybody's faced it, especially within this tribe. Yeah, that is part of the questions that I've had is because, like I said, everybody's fallen victim to it one way or another. There's always talk of somebody's given a job, because of this person's power. So that's just one of the standard questions. Curious about. Just to be honest with you, I did vote for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate your support and your, what would I call it? I don't know what to call it. More than support, but faith in what my abilities.
Yeah, basically what we focus on this podcast really is to have, comedy and laughter. I think this is actually the first episode where I actually had a person to interview on just, background, giving a story. And so basically what we're going to segue into is, part of the lighter mood of this podcast. Like, a game we like to play is Would You Rather? And the first question is, would you rather talk in rhyme form or sing instead of speak?
I would say I'm not a very good rhymer, so it would have to be sing rather than speak.
I think I join you on that one.
I don't mind the comedy part.
I'd have to do rhyme form because I'm not very good singer. For instance, I just like, I'm going to the bathroom.
I think I'd do the singing part. I can sing it all the time.
So life will be like a musical.
My son Skagit is sitting behind me, Ryan, and he's a I think 3rd or 4th year Siouan dancer.
Oh, okay.
And I'm supposed to know his song, and we would go places without his big house family, I guess you call it.
Mm.
The Skagit people. That's where he went in. So it would end up me singing a solo of his song.
So you're really well in depth in the cultural too. You know,
Yes.
with the cultural life. Yeah. Oh, that's good. You know, it's something I'd look into seeing those who represent us is that those who are rooted into the cultural life as well as tribal life, you know. Because with us, there's us traditionalists. I say traditionalists, you know, those who follow the path that we were born into, you know, the big house dancing, the canoe races, the stick games, you know, stuff like that. That's what I like to see in those who represent us. But, you know, I'm not the only one here. You know, Curtis is here too, so don't mean to jump on everything off the notepad.
Another would you rather, Ross? Lose sense of taste or lose sense of touch?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I would say lose sense of taste. I wouldn't feel when I bite my tongue.
Really drinking it too.
Or if it's too hot of a hot sauce.
There you go.
I wouldn't know my tongue's burning.
Right. I think I'd go for touch.
Well, if we're talking about taste and stuff, like, you still feel it. So if you lose sense of touch, then you can't feel the burn or the bite.
Like taste of food. I think that's what it'd be. The taste of food.
Oh.
The taste of food, and then the touch. You know, the burning sensation. So it'd be touch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, touch. Yeah.
I have a low tolerance for heat.
Oh, okay.
I'm constantly burning the roof of my mouth.
Oh, no. I do that too.
Don't drink coffee, so I never did adapt to a hot heat in my mouth.
I'd probably lose sense of touch too because I like food.
Do the last one? Or I think this one's oh, I can do it. Would you rather live in a huge house without friends and family, or live in a tiny house with all your friends and family? I mean, generally that's part of the reservation. We'll all squeeze into a house, but
I live in Nooksack HUD housing. I have for like 30 years, give or take. That's just over 1,000 square feet. And there's like 10 of us in the house most of the time. So I live with the small friends and family atmosphere. I wouldn't know what to do with living by myself in Seattle or nobody around.
okay. So you live. So you are practically doing the question as is.
I live it.
Honestly, I think I do the tiny residence too with friends and family because I can't be without my friends and family. So I think I'd be on that.
I get bored.
Well, I think that's pretty much all that we have on our notepad. Do you have any like funny stories or any good jokes you'd want to share?
Oh, I don't know if it's funny, but I'd like to tell a little story. There were my brother Gary and George Swanisett and I were pretty much duck hunting partners all the time. One time, I think I was the one that said ducks, and they were like way up in Canada coming our way behind. I don't know if it was behind the Swanisets or behind the Klein property on the Nooksack River. It said ducks, and the George drops down and gets his bottom wet. So he added the little splash that the ducks make when they land. But there another time duck hunting, and we were always taking my motorcycle, built for two people, but all three of us would squeeze onto it. I don't know how far we went on that little motorcycle to get farther upriver or downriver. Mission Road mostly.
I wish you guys had a picture of that.
Picture in my head.
It still counts.
That sounds pretty funny.
Yeah, that sounds funny too.
We used to reload, Gary and I, shotgun shells. We'd spill some powder and would put it aside and put all of it into one shell. George Swanisett had a Nitro Special. I forget what brand. I think it was a Smith. It was one of the nicer English-made double-barrel shotguns. And George would take them, and he didn't want to use them. He kind of stick them in a special spot. And one time, this white kid, Bob Austin, wanted to show how tough he was. Shoot both barrels at once. And George pulled out two of those special rounds, stuck them in there. And he pulled the trigger on both barrels and flopped right down to on his back. That's something that's permanently etched in my brain too.
Oh man, that's one way to show it.
It was before cameras, I think. Or, it's not like today where you have cell phone, you turn it on, take pictures. Or just something that happened.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Special stash, huh?
Shotgun shells.
At least I know who to look out for when I go hunting with somebody.
Here, try these.
Okay, I think I'll be okay for now. We try not to go too far, because we try to keep our timing well done on our podcast. Yeah, that's basically what we do. This is what we started. To those who don't know, before we started doing our podcast, I talked to Ross about this before, and I thought, like, let's try something before we before we miss the chance, and that was I brought it to your attention to do an interview, and I think we wanted to try and keep it close to or a little bit after the elections, and I thank you for coming on our podcast, and we'll hopefully have it uploaded either tomorrow morning or afternoon, hopefully afternoonish. That's what it usually comes out on. Tomorrow-ish.
Indian time?
Indian time. We basically, we kind of just wing it, and usually, lately, it's been falling on Sundays, so we do recordings and uploading on Mondays.
Okay.
And it helps with the Monday blues. So we'll most definitely let you know when it's uploaded, and from us, we thank you for
Okay.
coming on.
Right?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
If you ever want to come again on a future episode,
Yeah.
share some more stories.
I think I told all my stories. No, yeah, I could tell some more stories. Growing up is in the 50s and 60s was different, so
Yeah.
Huh.
Not too much technology distraction stuff.
no. So there's always something going on that was actually, I guess, entertaining and not stuck in the corner looking at a cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I have to say, 3 guys on a motorcycle is pretty entertaining.
I think I'm going to see 3 guys on a motorcycle.
With shotguns in hand.
Yeah, special rounds.
And some ducks were on the way back.
Okay.
We usually built a bonfire, I guess, to keep warm while we were duck hunting. I didn't know it was something that would attract ducks, but I found that out reading about Salish history. They would build a fire up on the front of their canoes to attract the ducks in the dark. But
Interesting.
we'd build a bonfire and shoot a duck and pluck it and roast it on the. We wouldn't pack a lunch. We would just count on somebody getting a duck or 2.
The original fast food, huh?
Yeah. 60 mile an hour. That's about how fast a duck flies.
Well, if I know to go hunting with you, be careful.
So I'll make sure to bring a good hunter, huh?
No dog necessary.
No.
One of the young guys will run through the water and retrieve.
Well, if the 3 of us here happen to go, I'd probably be the one running through the
So that's all why you bring the younger.
We went out to Lummi one time, hunted with our brother-in-law, Gabe Jefferson,
Mm.
and we were way out in the big field. We didn't know the terrain. Gabe shoots a duck, and Gary, my brother Gary, said, "I'll get it," and he goes running, plumps into the ditch, and totally disappears.
Oh, no!
Pops up on the other side, and the way he goes, grabs the duck, comes running back, does the same thing, to plop, totally disappears again.
On the same day.
Oh, no!
And Gabe says, "There's a plank right over there. You can't see it. It's underwater."
I love that. Oh
I
yeah.
only do it once or twice.
He would have done it more times. He was already on that, and he didn't care.
So I think we can close out our segment on a good note. Again, we thank you, Ross, for coming through to share some good stories with us, and we're more than welcome to have you on more episodes.
Okay, sounds great.
Because we started off with doing just season 1, and then we'll see how far it goes. And lately, it's been going good from what I see on interaction page through Facebook. So I think we might be doing another season for season 2. So we're doing at least 12 episodes per season, and right now we're only on season 4.
Is it only audio or is it audio video?
Just audio.
Audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll
Work up to audio video or?
it's a kind of a starting thing for us.
Oh yeah.
So starting stepping stone, or what do we call it?
Milestone.
Milestone. Stones.
Some kind of stone. So I think we can close out our segment on that one. And again, Ross, thank you for coming through.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me up.
Is there anything you'd like to tell our audience that we have, for those in Nooksack?
I'm looking forward to serving the Nooksack Indian tribe and moving ahead. I'm not sure what that means yet. I need to get caught up with the past, I guess, and find out where we are and what we can actually do to move forward.
Check off stuff off the checklist before you add to the list.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, so I think we'll close that out again, Ross. Again. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So that was our segment that we had with Ross Klein that we did a little bit earlier, and now there's things that we did have to take care of today. A JOB that me and Curtis had to attend to at the same time today. So we decided we'll keep going after work. So henceforth we're doing this now, and that is why. We didn't do the plug-in for the opening.
We said we're gonna do it after work, and here we are, and we're doing it
right now.
Yeah.
But we are not alone. If you did not catch the video that I had posted up before the episode, we are joined by none other than my grandfather, George Bailey. If you'd like to say hi.
Hello.
Come on down.
Well, come on over, more likely.
Coming out of your bedroom.
Yeah, if you guys didn't hear earlier in the episode, Grandpa said that he does quite a bit of ha-has in his room listening to us record in the living room, so might as well ha-ha with us behind the microphone rather than behind the door. Oh, okay.
Not my ha-has are silent.
So, Ross did touch a really good base with his little, his good idea of moving forward.
Yeah.
For the tribe. I did a little research when it happened, but I've been trying to keep up with it. I do know that with the, Washington State makes quite a bit of money with marijuana taxes. In the past 3 years, it's jumped up quite a bit. And when it going to 2015, it made about $250 million for a tax year, and the following year, 2016, it jumped up to $786 million. That's a big jump within 1 year.
Jeez.
And then for the past year, 2017, it made up to $1.3 billion. That's million with a B. Dollars for last year. Dollars.
U.S. dollars.
U.S. dollars. Well, we're in Washington. Of course it's U.S. dollars.
Just gotta make sure, where are they getting these facts from? Canada?
Yeah.
Amsterdam? Did they study over in Amsterdam? I don't know.
They're probably in the trillions.
Yeah. So that's kind of what would be a good idea, and we did touch base that the other tribes are stepping up to jump in on this marijuana cash cow, the financial bus ride. It'd be good. It'd be a good stepping stone for us to do, I'd say.
Financial wise.
Yeah, and that's just my opinion. I don't speak for the whole tribe. But as my opinion and with myself, it'd be a good idea. We're a sovereign nation. We can do with what we can. That's from what I see. Tribal lands can hold casinos. So why not can we hold marijuana?
A rec store.
Yeah. And Grandpa, I know you should want to shed some light on some of the stuff with the alcohol, pricing and the rise of casinos too.
Yeah, well, back years ago, how it used to be, where alcohol was during prohibition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. You couldn't have alcohol, but then you have the organized crime were making millions off of that, you know.
Mhm.
But then now the state have stores, and also nowadays there's also the stores like our tribal store has alcohol in it. You know, I was in on that before they started having the state allow us tribal stores to sell, because I did that back in 1980 for Swinomish. I went to work for them and sold tax-free liquor for the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And during my time there, in a short time, that store made over $2 million. But then they went to state and state agency, what they call it, or mom and pop stores.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it used to be recognized. But you know, and then that all changed.
Mm-hmm.
Now you had the tobacco stores open up. They're all over the place, and they still
Mhm.
make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So those were the different things that were back then. Now you're coming up with the marijuana, which is now legal in the state of Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and the tribes are going to step into that business as well, which is good,
Yeah.
you know, for the tribe. There are some tribes that are so big that, you know, the members all get per cap. Well, who knows? Maybe our tribe can get big enough where they may start able to do that for our tribal members.
That'd be good for us to.
Yeah. So it's big business,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and if you understand big business and do it properly, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the important part of it, knowing what you're doing and how it's to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and learning that a long time ago. You just have to think about it, you know, just
Mm-hmm.
do it right,
Yeah.
and know what you're doing, and setting up, you know, your pricing. You know, that's the whole thing. That profit margin is what's going to make the difference, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing what is out there, what's available. You know, I was fortunate to learn when I went to work for the state liquor stores. I was one of two natives in the whole state of Washington that worked in the state liquor store, where at one time natives weren't allowed to have alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't. There was, excuse me, prohibited.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good experience, and what I learned there I still use today, because, you know, just learning business,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And we have our people that understand business, how to operate a business, and you operate it, you know, properly and successfully. It can be done.
Yeah.
You know, the right people that understand. That's what you have to have, people that understand big business,
Mm-hmm.
or willing to learn. You know, and that's what our people need to do, is also learn. Go out there and learn it. You know, our younger generations need to understand that,
Yeah.
get that experience. You know, because I know my late father-in-law said the casinos ain't going to be here forever.
No.
They're going to have something else to back up on.
Yeah.
Well, where are we today? You know, so it's something to think about. So that's kind of in a nutshell.
Yeah. And no taste testing either.
No taste testing. Dude, no, you don't want to go there either.
Yeah. That's rule number 1. Don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah.
Hashtag Scarface. Anyway, yeah, this is some good facts. And I've been doing I did a little bit of some more fun facts to put on the podcast, just to kind of try a little something different for this episode, you know, since we did kind of step out of our comfort zone with...
Sorry about all that noise. My microphone stand totally just dropped.
It was kind of funny to watch. But,
Well, I thought I was being quiet, and then I look at the computer, and it's like bouncing off the screen. I was like, oh god, I made a lot of noise.
Always something to do for a good visual. But yeah, I was doing a bunch of some fun research on some good, interesting facts. Some of them may be useless, but it's interesting let alone. So, interesting fact number 1.
One. O-N-E.
The name Harry Potter is mentioned 18,956 times throughout the whole series.
The name Harry Potter.
The name Harry Potter.
Oh, how many?
18,956 times. throughout the whole
Jeez.
series. So,
How many times can you say one guy's name? 18,000 times.
So that's
And just think, they're in school, so it's only like a span of like a couple years. Imagine a lifetime.
if you think about it, they were just 44 times short of even 19,000.
Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter.
Good luck. With that tongue twister in that one. That's actually kind of interesting, I say.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Harry Potter. I didn't read the books. They were too long. But I watched
I had the
movie.
movie collection. I'm a Harry Potter fan.
I am too. I like watching the movies. That's actually quite funny.
Harry
Potter. Okay, interesting fact number 2.
TWO.
The creator of Hershey's chocolate was supposed to be on the Titanic. So
I wonder what made him not go.
Right? I don't know. It didn't specify what he did to not go, but
I bet you he's glad he didn't go.
yeah. Otherwise, we'd
No
have
Hershey bars.
no s'mores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could have been like a whole history change right there.
Mm-hmm.
Then what would they be fighting about in Sandlot if there was no s'mores?
Yeah. Smell what?
Can I have s'mores? Nothing.
Then
You're
I
killing
wouldn't
me,
have any
Smalls.
acne.
Whoa, I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm just saying that.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I really want to know. I want to dig deep into that. It's a conspiracy.
What made you not go? Was he running late?
Or slept in? Yeah.
Or did
slept
he
in.
sleep in?
Or just- you
Or
were late,
was
so
he
sleep-
busy inventing something else?
S'mores.
I can't go on the Titanic. I'm creating this invention. I'm going to call it s'mores.
But it wasn't s'mores until Sandlot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just an example.
The Hershey. He's creating the Hershey
Hershey.
bar.
Tomato, chocolate.
Chocolate.
That's
Okay.
pretty interesting though.
Interesting fact number 3. Lemons contain more sugar than strawberries.
Is that why they're so sour?
Maybe. But what makes it sour if it's really sweet? Because strawberries are really sweet. They're known to be really sweet.
True.
But why is the lemon so sour? I mean, I can eat a lemon. I really can. It's really good. A little bit of salt. Add some flavor to it. Oh my god. It's-
Quenches your thirst,
Oh yeah.
naturally.
Yeah, that's why I'm not being racist, but I watched George Lopez stand up. He goes, "That's why Mexicans have lemon trees. To quench the thirst when we're working outside." I don't know what stand up is, but now he said that, but once I look into that, I was like, "Huh, that's why." He was right.
That's also interesting.
Do you guys know that we used to suck on a lemon after we got off the canoe?
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
They told us before.
Yeah,
Before we
before
got out.
and
Before and
well,
after.
you know, when you're out there, your mouth goes dry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and you get thirsty.
Yeah.
So we used to get it after we got off and squeeze it and get the lemon juice.
Yeah.
Of course, you got lemonade, but
Mm.
that's how we always carried lemon with us all the
I
time.
think Grandma said that to me before too.
Yeah.
She said, "You know, if you're thirsty, here's a lemon."
Yeah.
She gave me a lemon. And I was like, I don't really like lemons.
So when life gives you lemons,
Suck
you
on
eat it.
Or suck on it. You never know. You might
Drink,
just want-
eat. Either way, you're getting it.
Yeah.
Only if you get a lemon card, don't do anything with it. Just get rid of it.
So, my last interesting fact.
Okay, because
Yeah.
we're reaching 40 minutes.
Oh well, it's fine. There are 4,200 religions in the world. How about that? That's enough for you to talk.
What do you
There are 4,200 religions in the world. Now that is interesting because with so many religions, some of them are bound to be wrong.
It's like I want to believe it, but then I don't. Because 4,200, that's a lot.
But we are a big
But
world,
there
if you
is
think about it.
a
We're big.
lot of people on Earth.
Yeah, that's what I said. There's over 7 billion people on this planet.
I want to believe it, but then I don't.
Do you know about Linden?
I mean, they're Christians.
Do you know about Linden?
Mm-hmm.
They're in the Guinness World Book for the most churches in a small town.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I didn't know
I
that.
remember that. I remember reading about that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I mean, yeah, there's over 4,200, and that's my standpoint. I mean, somebody's bound to be wrong.
And half of them are in Linden.
not to go anything on the Christians or anything, but it's all about laughter, you know. I mean, I could just see myself sitting down in the underworld and just be like, "Who'd you have? Jesus too? Yeah, me too. I had Jesus too." Who would have thought it was a frog in the sky?
4,200.
Oh, can you believe that everybody was scared of end of the world? Can you believe that? Because of the Mayan calendar. I had, just to share...
They just ran out of space.
Yeah, that was my standpoint too. I mean, I had Jehovah Witnesses come knock on my door Saturday morning. They came knocking on my door. Yeah, and I was the only one home alone. And they said, "Can I talk to you about a topic that is kind of getting out there?" And I'm just waking up. I mean, it's like the scene off of Friday, the opening scene where he opens the door. Yeah, that was me.
That was sweet.
I was like, "Sure, I guess. Go ahead." I was like, "I want to know this topic." And they're like, "Oh, if you haven't known, the end of the world is coming." And this was back in 2012. I was like, "The end of the world is coming in just a few months." And I was like, "Hold on a second. Are you talking about December 21st of this year?" Yeah. I was like, "No, you can't be coming to me preaching about the Mayan calendar, and you guys are Jehovah's Witnesses. I said, you guys are preaching into the religion. Isn't that against your religion? You're a bright young man, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah." Instead of really doing schoolwork, I studied some of the religions. You know, one of the well-known. I did a little study in Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Christian.
All the isms.
All the isms, really. Over in the eastern side of the world. But yeah, I did a lot of looking into here and there. And it's my favorite story because I went round and round with the Jehovah's Witnesses for 30 minutes. And I won. I won. They're like,
now get off my porch.
Pretty much. I mic dropped them. I mean, they came at me with like, "Well, if you look at the way we have to see other religions is that it's evil." I was like, "No, that's not evil." I was like, "It's not. How is it evil? They're standing up for what they believe in." I said, if you look back, the first person to stand up for what he believed in was cast out of heaven with 1/3 of the angel population. I said, that's 13,363,666. If you think of it. I mean, like I said, I did do some study and I memorized it like the back of my hand. I was like, that's a lot of numbers to remember, and it's surprising that I failed quite a bit in school, but this stuff I can remember. But I have trouble with long division, but I can remember that specific number, you know. But I was like, that guy stood up for what he believed in. I said, all he's seen was that he should not have to bow to man. God sent forth for his angels to look at his creation, which was man. He took pride in that. So he wanted everyone to acknowledge and respect. But Lucifer said, "No, I should not. You created us first. Henceforth they should respect me." And he went throughout gathering followers to follow him. And they were pretty much trying to fight for their right, but they got casted out, as it says in the books. You know, I hit the Jehovah's Witnesses with these facts, and they were baffled. And just imagine, I was only like 18 at the time, talking to these like 25 to 30-year-old Jehovah Witnesses, and they were just wide-eyed, looking at me, baffled. And I was like, "Yeah, so mic drop. I'm leaving.
I'll go back to sleep."
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the room. I'm gonna close the door." Then they were like, and they said, "Well, is there any chance that we can sit down and talk some more, because this is pretty fun?" Dead face, looked at him and said, "No," and slammed the door.
He pulled the Dylan on him.
No.
No.
Man, a few words right there. I said, "No," and closed the door. So it was the most epic moment of my life, and I'm still gonna keep talking about it because it was one of the proudest moments I had. Standing up to two Jehovah Witnesses.
Well, some of that same family came. Well, they come here quite a bit, and they always talk to me. But they were talking about what he told them, and I looked at him and I said, "You talked to my grandson the other day." And he said, "Yeah." He had quite a thing to say. I said, "You see this here? What is it?" He said, "Cell phone." "Yeah." "Well, he's the only one that I know has the whole Bible in his cell phone, and he reads it."
I've read it twice, and I told them, I was like, this was another set that came, and I was like, I read the Bible twice.
Yeah.
I have no wrong or rights about it. It's a good one. I like it. And they're like, "So do you feel enlightened?" I was like, as you do with every book you read, you should feel enlightened that you read a book. "I mean, it's not a book." I was like, "Shush, it's a book, okay?" I said, "I'm not saying it's fiction or non-fiction. I'm just saying it's a good book to read." And they were like, they got a little upset. And I was like, "What do you think people look at in the magazines? I said, how do you think they're going to believe that? It's writing on a paper." And they were just kind of standing there looking at me, and I was like, all we have is writings on a paper, if you think of it. I mean, how can we really know what is real within the Bible? I said, Lutheran of the Lutheran Church, Luther, he created the Lutheran religion, but he went through the Bible, which was, I don't remember I think it was in Latin, but he translated it to German. I believe that's how it went. I think that's how it went. But he replaced God. And throughout the Bible, he deleted God, but put faith. So they say, "I believe in thy Lord," or "I believe in thy God," and it went to, "I believe in thy faith." That's how it went. That's how it was put in the Bible, the Lutheran Bible. I was like, so if they can do that, I was like, what makes you think that with translation things got mistranslated to what we can understand? And they're like, yeah, that's what they did. Interesting. And I was like, okay, I gotta go. So I closed the door again. I was like, God, how many times do I gotta turn away Jehovah's Witnesses? I was like, God, I'm just getting good at this.
I'm just trying to sleep, he says.
I'm not trying to say I'm an atheist or anything like that. I'm just a man that looks at between the lines and such things, and I do have the knowledge.
Fine details.
Fine details, yeah. I look at all
the
that.
fine print.
So I mean,
you got to read the fine print.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just my standpoint with religion. Honestly, I believe in God, but I also believe in evolution. It's just where I'm at, really, with religion and all.
How did we get to this point? Oh, 200 religions.
Well, he had all those religions, how many they were, so here we are, talking about.
Our conversations get carried away, and soon enough we're talking like
an hour or so.
So, dinosaurs.
We're knocking on caveman's
So we went
doors.
from talking with Ross to these facts
to religion.
To
me schooling up Jehovah's Witnesses twice.
Yeah.
And now here we are talking about what we just talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, 2012 was an interesting year.
I like the movie.
The movie? Yeah. I seen a post on Facebook, and I know everybody's going to want to do this with their kids when they get older. It says, when my kids get older, I'm going to show them the movie 2012, and said, I survived that.
I would do the same thing.
2012,
yeah.
December 21st, what was it, 2012?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Came
So-
and went. We're still here.
Yeah. It's like, you see me in that helicopter? Look, there I go. Oh, yeah. They caught me for a brief second.
After I seen the movie, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get a submarine. I'm just gonna chill in the ocean.
Oh, God. But yeah.
I'm a 2012
No, it's an
survivor.
arc.
Arc, yeah.
The arc.
Oh, the art.
Something.
That's something that I question too, really. I mean, we
What
listen-
arc are we talking about?
Noah's Ark?
No, it's not.
Well, we're talking about the 2012 arc.
I'm
The
just,
Chinese arc.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Chinese
saying.
can make anything. Yeah. Back everything says made in China, right?
Well, I mean, I kind of came across the Free Tibet stuff. And I look at the back.
Okay.
I look, huh?
My drink's gone.
Oh. Well, I mean,
Empty.
I was looking at I came across in the antique shop, I came across Free Tibet. You know, when they
Yeah.
had that spiel with China and whatnot.
They still do.
Yeah. And then, well, this is when it was really big. And it says Free Tibet. And I look in the back and it said Made in China. I was like, oh my God. Oh.
Well, go to March Point and get one of those little native things turned upside down. What does it say?
Made in China?
Made in China. Your grandma threw it away. I ain't buying that. It's made in China. How do they know what our designs are?
Right.
Made from the res.
Made from the res. Do you have any topics you want to discuss on 2012? Since I guess it's the topic of choice at the moment.
No, but, well, I don't know.
Any theories?
I just remember I mentioned to you earlier that I actually made a post on Facebook. I think it was a year or two after. And I can't remember exactly, but on my post I said, I wonder how people feel about 2012, the ones that said the Earth was going to end. Like how they feel now, a year or two later, when I made the post.
You know,
Dumb.
yeah. I mean, I bet they feel the same way the people felt about Y2K.
Yeah.
But Y2K conspiracies. I know it's before my time, but still, I mean, it's just not
Oh,
there.
also I was wondering, so I think it was in school, and then that's when the whole 2012 was coming up, like, oh, the world's gonna end in like 4 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the heck are we doing in school then?
Right?
Shouldn't we start learning like survival stuff?
Right?
You got me here learning math.
I need to learn how to kill a bear with a knife. Yeah, you have me doing long division. Come on, teach.
I gotta cut the branch at like 43 inches, 0.6, you know. The spear tip's gotta be like 6 inches long.
The circumference of that tree could last us weeks on wood.
The teeth on the saw should take me like 3.5 seconds to cut through the branch.
Well, here's something that I was told when I was young. You know, when I was a young fella. They said when the world ends, the only ones that are going to be left are us,
Yeah.
because we, you know, this is where we had originated.
Mm.
So it won't affect us native people. We'll still be here.
Yeah.
It goes back to that joke with that I had, and it makes Mom laugh. It makes Mom laugh every time, and Jeffrey too, and it makes Uncle Jeffrey laugh. Is that
If you guys are listening, you know what's coming up.
yeah, and it's like, you know, everybody's praying to get into heaven, but not us natives because we got reservations. It gets them every time. So that's my go-to. If the Jehovah's Witnesses ever come back, do you need to be saved? No, I got reservations. I'm good.
I think I heard stuff like that too before. Like, Halitums will come and go, or something. Something will come and go, and we'll still be here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I like to. I told
I hope so, because I want a house.
I know
More houses will open up.
I know what it was. They back in the '60s. He always used to talk about the the bombs that would land on the United States.
Yeah.
And he said, well, it'll wipe out everybody except all the Indians. We'll still be here after all that's gone.
Mm.
Because we go north to Canada.
And that's what they talked back in the 60s. We'll still be here after all that.
Mm.
Yeah, I kind of...
I could just see you guys sitting back. What the hell are you bombing each other for?
You're destroying my fishing grounds. Now I gotta go upriver 20 feet. Ah,
I gotta wait till tomorrow to eat when they return.
Quit deforming my fish.
You're cooking it too much.
As for done, not well done.
Overcooked.
Yeah, unovercooked. Like I was gonna say is that I actually did go around and run with a Christian at school. I went to Nooksack Valley, and I mean I did high
Who
school.
didn't you go around and run with?
Dude, I love religion. I really do, honestly. But the Christians, this Christian was telling me that Christians are God's favorite. I was like, no, they're not. They're not. She's like, what do you mean we worship? I was like, shh, let me explain. I was like,
Shush.
They understand that.
That sounds funny.
I was like, I'm gonna tackle a lot of racism in this. What I'm about to tell you, and I was like, I don't mean offense to it. It's just facts. Because if you look at it, you white folks, y'all got cooked way too early. They took you out the oven early. I said, and when God made the Mexicans, they were too spicy. When God made the blacks, they were overcooked. I said, but us natives, we're cooked right. We're just right on the money. That's why He loves us so much to give us reservations. And I plug that one again. I got sent to the office for that one. Yeah, mainly because we were yelling. She started yelling at me. And I just laughed. That is not true, but I'm right. You guys go to the office. Eric, you go first. It's because I'm native, huh? Just walked out.
You like my deliciousness.
Oh, God. Well, we, in the episode before this, so episode 3, we had plugged for, oh no, we didn't. Our technician.
We did or didn't?
Let me explain. We kind
There
of
he goes
did.
again. Facts.
We kind of did.
Brace
But it was
yourself.
more
Eric's
of
facts are coming.
technician Julia said that her boyfriend Lloyd was interested in doing the podcasts with
Lloyd
us.
James, for those who don't know.
So, we did, just for those to our audiences, we did talk to him, and he is more than interested in doing an episode. So we may have to do an earlier episode for this next week, maybe.
Schedule-wise, basically.
Yeah, because we got to work on his schedule just as much to get him in on this interview. And
He's a funny guy.
yeah, he is
We
pretty
share
funny,
some ha-has.
especially when we play Fortnite.
Hmm.
There are conversations that we got. So we don't really want to push it too long in this episode. I'm Ross Klein. I know you're going to be listening. Thank you again. I know we said thank you a lot before you left, but really, it means a lot that you're more than willing and down to earth to come and talk to us on this podcast. And a message out to all Nooksack Tribal Council who would like to come in and do an interview with us. We also had talked to I got a hold of Frank Leva,
Frankly.
and he's going for the secretary position. Is that correct?
Yeah.
He is the secretary.
He is.
Oh no, he is the secretary. I'm sorry. And I messaged him asking if he'd like to jump on, and he said he would. So I had told.
Technically, you showed me the message. Technically, he said sure.
Oh yeah, he said sure. But
Just
it's
joking around, Frank.
tomato. Yeah, sure. But still. But we had asked him to come on the 19th or 20th because we got Lloyd scheduled for our next episode. So Frank, I know you're probably going to be listening on this one. Just to give you you'll be coming up on episode 6. So that's how far we're planning ahead, and what we normally plan for is 2 episodes.
And once I mentioned in episode 1, we might not do seasons. We might just do this every week.
Oh, that is also true.
All year long.
I mean, it's seasons to keep
32
track.
episodes a year. That's how many weeks are in a year, right? 32.
Facts. I think that's going to be something new we do. So,
But yeah, next episode, Lloyd James.
And then
He's a really good friend, brother-in-law. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to bro.
Squad member in Fortnite.
He's really funny. He ha-ha'd at our ha-has.
Yeah, they didn't want to ha-ha with us.
Ha-ha with us. And like we mentioned, anyone that's wanting to, feel free. Let us know. We'll figure out a schedule. So that's this coming next episode. And as you heard, Frank, he's going to be our next one. So if you want to join in with us,
let us know.
We're already getting kind of
booked up already. Yeah.
Slightly booked up.
I mean, we're starting to collect.
So just gotta let us know, and we gotta put you in the books.
Yeah. So
unless your name's Uncle George, then you could just come out of your room anytime.
And special thank you to my grandfather, George Bailey. He's taught me a lot growing up, and it's good to have him out here a lot, ha-haing with us. Anything you want to go for a closing statement?
Yeah, I want to say a thank you to Ryan. He was here with his dad this afternoon,
Right.
and he commented that there's some good listeners out there and enjoying what these boys are doing.
Really?
And yeah,
Ross. Right. Ross.
Oh,
Ross is-
this Ryan.
This
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Eric's brother.
No.
Ryan Klein.
Yeah.
Right, there we go.
Yeah. He mentioned that he was talking to friends and they like what you guys are doing. So
Oh, that's cool.
keep it up.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it up. I mean, you got listeners out there, followers.
That's
That's good to hear. And I wanted to thank him for mentioning that.
yeah.
It's
You
a
know.
real confidence booster,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
FYI, Ryan mentioned this after Ross's interview.
Yeah.
So
A little behind the scene things.
yeah,
So
that's really good to hear.
it is.
Because, like us mentioned in other episodes, it's a confidence booster.
Mhm.
And like he mentioned to us, like I said, off the microphone, that it's really nice that we're doing this. It's a positive thing. And like we always say, we're trying to make people's days and laughter and whatnot. So also just hearing feedback from that, that's really good. Makes me feel good.
Basically, we're 2 comedians, 1 podcast.
2 microphones because Eric doesn't want to share.
No, I do not. Not gonna lie on that. Being so close for a ha-ha for 45 minutes, roughly an hour.
But yeah, that feels good that people are actually listening. People are actually getting a kick out of our stories and whatnot.
And a little spoiler, hopefully to come soon, we'll be looking into merchandise ideas. Yeah.
Merchandise.
Yeah.
T-shirt.
So, hopefully.
T-shirts.
Yeah. We caught wind of that. Curtis caught wind of that, so now it's kind of sparked.
Cousin
up interest.
Marcia.
Shout out to Marcia and Lydia.
I think we shouted her out almost like every episode.
Pretty much. Well, we gotta touch. We gotta touch base with all our fans, So, spoiler alert on that one. Again, thank you for those who are listening and have been listening since episode 1.
Please continue to listen. Like I said, it makes me feel good knowing that people are actually listening.
And such good feedback coming through. So I am Eric Bailey.
Is that
Yes,
my
that's
cue?
you. I'm
Like I said in episode 1, just give me a notion. Like, hey.
I did. I pointed at you.
Oh.
I extended my arm. I extended my arm.
That could be any kind of notion. Like,
That's what,
you could have pointed to me like, stop the recording.
No, I mean,
I'm Eric Bailey. Okay, stop.
why would I stop at me? You're my partner in podcasting.
I'm just trying to keep it funny.
Okay, so, final outro. I am Eric Bailey.
I am Curtis Kelly.
And we are Hot
R3Z.
18. And this concludes episode 4. Stay tuned for episode 5.